Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jacob Ferguson, and today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite seasons of All Stars 8, that is airing currently. So we have 2 episodes to talk about, so let's get into it. So I believe I've already talked about the entrance looks. If I haven't, they were there. I'm not going to really hash them out considering the fact that we've already seen them. Let's go on to our challenges. So the mini challenge is a famous then, famous now runway. And then the main challenge is the girl group challenge. And then we have the runway to go off of. So I'm going to just go in order of girl group. And I'm going to just do it all. So starting with Alexis Michelle. And if this thing over here goes off, whatever. She went off All Stars 5 because of Alexis Mateo. So Alexis Michelle. Yes. So let's start with Alexis Michelle. What did I like? What I didn't like? Let's start with her famous then, famous now. Her famous then, that Norma Desmond outfit, looked really nice. I really enjoyed it. It was very clean, concise, consistent. It's going to be a toot. And her next runway, her Kim Kardashian look is also going to be a toot. However, it is a little bit basic. I understand that Kim Kardashian wore that, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit better than it was. You know, this is Drag Race. It's going to get a toot anyway because I do get the reference and I like it. The mixing of the girl groups for both were terrible. And it was funny that Green Gay made that whole entire video about the producers of Drag Race, and then bam, we get a Fabulous Pop-Tarts reference right off the bat. A little bit weird and odd if you ask me, but I enjoyed both groups. I have to say Alexis was not in the top for me. I believe that she could have been low. Only because I couldn't understand any of her lyrics, and also her runway. I watched this show with my brother. My brother was a little bit turnt last night when we were watching it, and we were sitting there, and he sometimes says the funniest things, and she goes, "This is my signature style, and, you know, it's timeless," and all of that. And my brother goes, "So for your signature drag, you've picked out a basic dress." And when I tell you, I cackled, because it really is just a basic dress. It's something that, and my brother went on to say, it's something that I could see Mom wearing. Mom's sitting right next to us. She's watching it with us. And he goes, "If I can say that, it's not a good look, because if my mom can get this off of the rack, then you know," and he ain't even gay, so he's going off. And I have to agree with him. I think that it was basic, and Alexis Michelle has a lot of ball gowns, and I get that that's her style. But unlike, say, Raja, where purple was a theme but she made it better, ball gowns aren't going to be the best thing to do. I know it's how the runways fall and all that sort of stuff. I just hope that she has better looks than this, because this was not a good look. It was just simple. And we don't want simple on Drag Race. We want extravagant. So this look is a boot. Let's move on to Darlene Lake. Now, she was in the bottom, and I have to agree with the critiques. Her Guinevere look, I loved. It's a toot. And her other look, her Billie Eilish look, Billie Eilish, excuse me. She, that look was not it. Now, I have to say, after seeing on Twitter that people really have been drawn to this look because it's like the bag ball look, where it's like very just so bad it's good. I have to agree, and I'm gonna give this look a soft toot. But that being said, it's still not my favorite. So, yeah, Billie Eilish, no. I liked her. I liked her verse. I wish that she had made a reference to Big Girl walking down this dirty city street. Because that was her magnum opus. That was, that was her Eras tour right there. And her runway was really good too. I liked the leopard print. That being said, she kind of faded into the background. So when she was announced as one of the bottom two of the week, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. When she wasn't sent home, though, I was kind of gagged. Because she kind of didn't have any storyline. So we shall see. Overall, she was not one of my favorites. So I love her, but she wasn't one of my favorites this episode. So let's talk about Heidi in Closet. Heidi, I think, had a strong opening premiere. I think that, well, I say that and then I'm about to boot both of her fashion show looks. They were both just bad. And I think that the bow one was worse than the porcelain doll one. But the problem with the porcelain doll was either get rid of this and make it all one skin color, or bring this up and do a porcelain doll effect. It just didn't make any sense. Especially if you were going for, say, a Beautiful Nightmare type look, which is something that they did last season. Make it good. Make it, like, spooky ooky. Don't make it, I'm a cracked porcelain doll masquerading as a human, but I don't look that spooky. There's that uncanny valley with it. So both of her looks get a boot. And her performance tonight or I'm going to say tonight, whatever. Her performance tonight, I really enjoyed her lyrics, her choreo, all of that. I believe she was the second place of the group. I think that she was, in her group, she was second place. That being said, her runway look, also amazing. I just am like, okay, I'm tired of the gap teeth. And I understand it's part of her brand, and she's going to have the gap teeth no matter what. It's just, like, after seeing it multiple times, I'm like, whatever. Like, we get it. You have a gap tooth. Make it something different. That being said, this is a toot. I love the look. And I liked the cane even though it had the gap teeth. Next up, Kahana Montrese. Kahana surprised me because she was really good. Her famous thin look is a boot. I don't like it. It's just too simple to be good. And her famous now look is a toot. I love it. It's one of my favorites because it's Lil Nas X. As for her lyrics, she was number one. If Heidi's number two, she's number one in her group. In fact, the ranking of the group, probably in the top three would be probably Candy. But anyway, Kahana really sold it. And on the runway, again, she sold it. I loved her look. It was very Serena Cha-Cha done well. You know, she had the big shoulder thing and the flag. She really did an elegant version of it, and I loved it. It's a toot. As for Candy Muse, let's go with Candy Muse. My mom and my brother don't really understand Candy, and it's not because of the lisp. I like Candy. That being said, I don't necessarily want her to win. I think that there are other stronger contenders, and I know that she's the big one that people are like, she's gonna win, and I bet you she will. Because let's face it, she has a very strong fan base. Everybody loves her. I don't want her to win. I would rather see Lala win. As for Candy's looks, her first look, gonna give a soft toot too. I understand it's a RuPaul reference. I understand that it's Supermodel of the World. Doesn't mean I have to like it. It's a soft toot because of the references. But that being said, it's borderline boot. I'm sorry. I just disliked it. And as for her other look, when I was filming this last, looked at the thing on screen. I'm not going to do that. And I've come to the decision that it's a boot. I just don't find it appealing to me, personally. It's just plain, and I just don't like it. As for her lyrics, I loved her lyrics, and I loved her runway tonight, too. I think that she knows how to do her style of drag very well. That being said, when she's trying to reference other people, not as much. But I really loved her look tonight, as well as her lyrics, when I had the subtitles on. She speaks so fast and she does stuff so fast that I can't understand her. But reading her lyrics out, I loved them. She knows her brand, and I love that. So it's a toot for me tonight. Finally, in Glam Rock, Naysha Lopez. Naysha has the best ass of the entire group, and I won't be silenced about it because her butt is great. I said it. As for her runway looks, both of them get toots because I believe that she really knows fashion, and I think that she does what she does very well. Her lyrics, I don't really remember. She kind of got lost for me tonight. She definitely, if it was a top 6, she would have placed low. As for her runway, it's a boot. I'm sorry. It just didn't make any sense. I don't necessarily, pick something more fashionable forward. If you're Naysha Lopez and you are the beauty and you are the fashion, do something fashion forward. Don't do a bodysuit with a weird ass haircut. It just doesn't work. So it's a boot tonight. Let's go to the disco group. Marginally better song. Let's start with James. James Mansfield tonight, I give toots all the way forward. Her runway, her lip syncing, her doing all of that, that's a toot. She had one of the best performances, probably second best of her group tonight. I loved it. I loved it. As for Jessica Wilde, I'm gonna give her Famous Then Look a toot because that was gorgeous. Her Famous Now look, I'm gonna give a boot because I don't really like Bad Bunny, and I just don't. As for her runway, what was her? Oh, the punk rocker boot. I'm sorry, Jessica would have either been in the bottom if this was a top 6 episode. You know how it would be, top 6 integrating into. I'm not saying she should have been eliminated, but she probably would have been in the bottom for her runways and all of that. She was giving very much Kimura Hall tease, kind of. I just didn't like it. Let's go with Jimbo. Jimbo is one of those queens where she's had one song that was so odd. So not sorry about it. Where I think that now she did really well here. She had the third best verse of the night, in my opinion. And her runway was very good. It was the brain and the eyeballs. I like that. Even though I know boobs, she has the boobs. No, we can't. That's making fun of people. I don't necessarily know if Jimbo is making fun of people. I'm not going to say that you guys are wrong because I know there's a lot of opinions. What I can say personally is I am kind of unnerved by the boobs. I think that, I get that she wants to be campy and all of that, but there's a way to do campy that's still good and not weird looking. Like, I'm sorry, Jimbo's entrance look was my least favorite because it was so simple and so just But I will say that making the boobs eyes campy, loved it. Her just having on a normal dress with big boobs, love it. It's okay. But when you were over exaggerating, over exaggerating, like what Yara Sofia did, it just meh. So with all that being said, her first two runway looks, toot boot, her follow stuff, and even Lalaurie, who we'll get to right away. I'm just not that big of a fan of that. I think it could have been done better or referenced somebody else. So with all that being said, she had the third best verse. Lalaurie had the best verse of her group. And her runway look tonight was very solid. I liked it. Her first look, toot, loved it. It was Diane Carroll, it was nice. Her second look, boot. In fact, lower than boot. I didn't like it because it was so simple, but not effective. There's ways that you can do it that would be simple yet effective, and she just didn't. Her verse was the best of her groups. I loved it. It was very good. I'm very excited to see Lalaurie continuing in the competition. Let's talk about Mrs. Monica Beverly Hills. Forgot for a minute. Monica had my least favorite verse of the night, and I love Monica. She really knows who she is. Well, wait a minute. Does she? Because she came in very confident, but then just got overwhelmed. And I've never, ever seen somebody cry that much. No, Jasmine Kennedy. But I've never really seen somebody cry that much on national television as I've seen with Monica. She just, every second that camera was on her, just broke down. And I felt so bad for her, but at the same time, I don't know who I would have voted off. We'll get to that in a little bit, but Monica definitely, her runway look, while good, was just not up to standard. It was a bodysuit with platform shoes on. So it's a boot. And as for her, I'm going to give her other two, though, a toot. Even though the Kim Petras one was simple, I like that Kim Petras was mentioned. I think Kim Petras and Monica Beverly Hills are... Monica referencing that is a love letter to her trans identity. So, all that being said, let's talk about Mrs. Kasha Davis. I like Mrs. Kasha Davis. Her runway look tonight is a toot. Her other two looks, her Lucille Ball and her Liza Minnelli, Kris Jenner, here's the thing. She gets a toot all around, but I think she would be low. The problem for me was her Kris Jenner look. She was very Liza Minnelli in the car. We all know the one, Kick-On's Liza Minnelli, Art Simone, and Space Horse. The Noah's Ark, man. That was very much Liza Minnelli. But then she said she was Kris Jenner. She wasn't Kris Jenner. Kris Jenner is more of a business suit, whereas Liza Minnelli's more sparkles and all of that. So with all that being said, Mrs. Kasha Davis, that one's a boot. So finally, let's talk about the tops and the bottoms of the week. The winner is Kahana Montrese, who I think deserved it, but I think that there should have been two highs, two lows. I mean, one low and then two bottoms. I think that I agree with Kahana winning, but I would have put Heidi and Lala Ree up there as well. As for the bottom queens, I would have probably. I agree with the bottom two. I would have put Alexis in the low category just because of everything shown, but save her because of her fashion show runway. As for the lip sync, Kahana Montrese goes up against Aja LaBeija, who they lip sync to Freakum Dress. Indina Menzel's right there. Defying Gravity's right there. But I think that Alexis Michelle probably would have won. Kahana versus Aja. I agree with the judges that Aja won. I love Kahana. She did a good job. As of who I would have voted for, the problem is that I think Monica had a better reason of staying than Darian did. Darian made top four. We've kind of seen Darian be fabulous. Monica kind of just is there, but I kind of wanted to see more from her. Also, this is really the earliest that a transgender contestant has been voted out of Drag Race in the past couple of seasons. I mean, I know we had like Cornbread leaving in 13th place, but I'm talking about a first out trans contestant. That I don't think has happened. I'm trying to think because then y'all will go in the comments and say, actually, I'm going to say it probably has happened before. Kelly Mantle, yep. Kelly Mantle was the first out, yep, okay, yeah. Are there any others that I'm missing? Honestly, I don't know. And if any of them come out as trans after the taping of this, then that's that. But really, and I mean, Jiggly Caliente also got eliminated 12th on her season. But at the same time, Serena Chacha had just gotten eliminated. So what I'm trying to say is that Monica would have been better to keep because of the fact that we haven't seen a lot from her. But Darian is the logical choice because Darian has more to prove in terms of she made the top four. So, with all that being said, who did you guys want to win? Who did you guys want to see next season on All Stars? Let's talk about that. I mean, so just comment down below. Let's talk about All Stars 8, Episode 2. 23 minutes in. I know this is going to be a long video, but let's talk about it. So episode 2 starts with Monica's mirror message. Kahana wipes it off, and we got introduced to the Fame Games, which, I mean, is a totally separate thing. But let's talk about the SNL skits. So first off, we have the cold open, which is James Mansfield and Nature Lopez, Heidi in Closet and Lala Ree doing a sketch about drag being a pandemic or an epidemic. That being said, I was very confused that Lala and Heidi made an appearance, considering the fact that they were the news anchors and had so much more to prove. I think it would have been nice to, say, see Jimbo and Jessica make an appearance or something like that. This sketch was not my favorite. Moving on to the host monologue. Candy did okay. I kind of like the spirit of Kourtney Kardashian just came in me to silence me about her mom. Ugh. Candy did really well. That being said, I like Candy. I liked the monologue. I think Mrs. Kosh Davis kind of stole the show. And me having to explain to my brother and my mom about McBitch was just funny. Next up, we had the gardening commercial, which I think was the worst sketch just because of the way it felt. Jessica was kind of being this like giant crazy, and Jimbo was kind of grounded. I didn't necessarily find it that funny. Heidi Lala, however, I loved. And Mrs. Koch Davis again stole the show in that other sketch. I loved the weekend update type thing. Didn't like Kahana in it, but it was giving very much Plastique and Vanjie's other cat friend who saw them fighting and was like, I have to stand up for what's right. I have to be. She time traveled to now to talk about it, which is very, very awesome. And I loved Alexis and Darian. I think that they had the strongest sketch. They had the funniest sketch. The one thing I will say is that I wish Alexis had a piece of jewelry right here, because I could see the lineage of the breastplate to her neck, and it kind of threw me off. I kept on just, and it was like a and this was kind of like, and I just wish that she had like a piece of jewelry, like a necklace, to distract. Category on the runway is Net Gala. So, first up, let's talk about Alexis Michelle, another ball gown. This one is better than the first one. That being said, I am like, whatever. It is what it is at this point. She looks good, but at the same time, I think that she needed to be better prepared. By better prepared, I mean, like, I wish that her runway was a little bit different. Darian Lake is next, for me at least. We're kind of going with each other. So, Darian's look is my favorite look of the night. This is a shoot for me and a score. She's a basketball with a net. Nobody else thought of that. And when she came out, I was like, oh, work, bitch. I'm not even into sports. This look is amazing. And it's the top for me of the week. Next up, let's talk about Hiding in Closet and Lala Ree. Lala Ree's look was simple. I don't necessarily like it that much. It's just black fishnet. But it gets the job done. As for Heidi, I rewatched the episode today. And as I was kind of looking, because again, my mom and my brother are talking over all of this, because of course we are. We're talking about what we thought. I didn't notice that it was made out of net fiber. So that's a really, really good idea. I just wish that it was more net. Also, again, the gaps. I'm tired of them, but whatever. I think that she has a brand and wants to stick to it, but again, I just didn't like it. I just didn't. Let's talk about Naysha Lopez. This look was fantastic. I loved it. It was very nice, very edgy. And James also had a gorgeous look. After watching her YouTube video and her struggle with getting that outfit made, I love it. It's one of the top looks for me. Kahana Montrese. I wish that Kahana's look was better. And by better, I mean, like, I wish that she had incorporated more of the net into it. Like, maybe it's a mermaid caught in a net. You know what I mean? Talking about nets, let's go to Jessica Wilde. I liked it, but I think Mrs. Kasha Davis, who also did Butterflies, did it better. And as for Jimbo, I loved the idea. I think this is part of why she won, but let's tell fact here. Her character wasn't my favorite. So in the top for this week, we have Jimbo, Heidi in Closet, James Mansfield, and who's the other one? Or was it just 3? I think it was just 3. And then in the bottom, we have Kahana Montrese and Naisha Lopez. Now, for me, my top 3 would have been Mrs. Kasha Davis, Darian Lake, and probably James Mansfield, with Mrs. Kasha Davis winning. And my bottom 3 of the week would have had to go to Naisha Lopez, Kahana Montrese, and for me, Jessica Wilde. It's not that I hate Jessica Wilde, it's just she did not do that well in the challenge for me. But I digress. Jimbo wins, which, good for her. And I think it's because the lip sync assassin is Pangina Heels, which I was kind of happy about. I was just explaining to my mom and my brother about Pangina Heels, and then all of a sudden, hello, she pops up. I loved this lip sync She Bop by Cyndi Lauper about female self-indulgence. I think Pangina slaughtered Jimbo, which, I mean, if Jimbo can't lip sync, that's fine, but come on. And Pangina reveals that Naisha Lopez, the ass of the season, has been sent home. As for who I would have chosen, hello, Seashell. This is my cat staying here. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Seashell thinks they should all go home and she should win. Anyway, as for who I would have voted for, I probably would have voted for Kahana, just because her look, her challenge was not that good, and Naisha got a role that she didn't want. So, anyway, as for who I think is going to win, I'm tied up kind of between Jimbo and Lalaurie and Heidi and James. Let me know who you guys think is going to win down in the comments below. I'm Jacob Ferguson. See you next week. Bye-bye.